Welcome again, everybody, to our webinar on the Power Platform. It is my privilege to be sharing the stage with my colleagues, BL, Enrique, and Raquel, who are the ClearPeaks specialists on the Power Platform. My name is John Savio, and I manage sales for ClearPeaks in the Middle East region. To talk more about the use case and its context, I will now hand over the baton to my colleague, BL. Over to you, BL.
Thank you, John. Let's start explaining the use case with the context and requirements and which was the problem we needed to solve. So one of our customers was using a SharePoint system for managing food delivery inside the company, and they were looking for a modern alternative. So the system had some issues that could be improved. The most clear problem was that the system was not user-friendly. SharePoint has a lot of advantages, but it's not designed to build business apps. So the design, but also the terms of functionality, the system was not facilitating the experience to the user. Also, the processes for ordering food or managing the food request were very long, having really low performance. So they needed a tool highly customizable in order to design processes with higher performance. Finally, they have 3 roles in the food delivery system, and they were managed in 3 different applications. For them, it was important to manage all of them from one app, one same app. And now my colleague Enrique is going to give you more details about these roles and how they manage this one same app.
Okay, so we have developed like a 3-in-1 experience where the security is implemented with 3 security roles. The application is able to detect dynamically which role has the user who is running it in the environment and gives him or her the access to different functionalities depending on the role assigned. For instance, we have the regular user who can create orders, see orders historic, create orders on behalf of a partner, see orders statuses, and leave feedback for the food received. Then the pantry can see an interactive accordion table with all orders information for tomorrow, or maybe filtering orders for today by delivery time to prepare food depending on the delivery fringe they want. And they also can transform that accordion table into a printable PDF to stored in OneDrive and shareable with pantry team. So it's like having the accordion table into paper. And finally, the admins, who can do the user capabilities, pantry capabilities, add, edit, or delete menu items, add, edit, or delete food categories, modify delivery times, and analyze feedback Power BI report, which is embedded in the same Power App. Our food delivery app is a Power Platform application developed to be able to order food, keep orders tracking, improve meals quality by retrieving feedback from company users, and centralizing data for performance and scalability improvement with an interactive and intuitive UI to give a better experience to the user. And now BL will introduce us to Power Platform World and all the features available.
Thank you very much, Enrique. Let's see now what is Power Platform and why we think is the best solution. In the last few years, we have entered an era where the management of data has become crucial in the daily life of companies. There are different approaches of gaining insights to get value from this data, including the data analysis, the app creation, or the automation of processes. And the main goal of Power Platform is to join all the different approaches in one single solution and do it in a way that is accessible also for non-technical end users. For that reason, Microsoft has created 3 different tools that are interconnected between them. Power Automate is the tool to automate processes without human intervention. Then Power Apps allow us to quickly create business apps. And Power BI is the reporting tool of business intelligence. All of them can be connected. So a Power Automate flow can be called from a Power Apps, as well as a Power Apps can be embedded inside a Power BI, as different examples. And we can make it even easier using Dataverse that acts as the common database where all the data can be stored. In order to amplify the possibilities of this platform, we can find some capabilities that can be used with all the tools explained. So there are already built AI models like form processing or sentiment analysis. We have the Power Virtual Agents that can be integrated for building chatbots. And we also have connectors that are also a key point of Power Platform. So makes the connection with other external technologies very easy and fast. Let's make now a closer approach to Power Apps. That is the central tool we have used for the moment in Power Platform. Its main goal is to build business apps, but in any case, it's a tool for developing commercial apps. The main characteristics of Power Apps are their facility to use, thanks to the user-friendly interface they have, and the particularity that is really low code. So the developing knowledge you need doesn't have to be that high. It's also important to mention that these apps are mobile or tablet friendly, even if they can also be embedded in web pages. And finally, as in the whole Power Platform, the apps can be easily connected to third-party systems like Microsoft SQL Server, Salesforce, Google, as one of 100 examples. The result of all these characteristics is the possibility of creating these business apps much faster than using any other method. And we have two types of apps, the Canvas apps and the model-driven apps. The Canvas apps are more user-friendly as they are highly customizable. This allows to create very task-specific apps with their own logic and having a completely flexible design. On the other hand, the model-driven apps are more focused on data visualization and management from Dataverse, where also forms and business process flows can be added, as well as charts or dashboards, but always having into account that the design is closed, not having the same flexibility as with Canvas apps, or we can also compare it with Power BI reports. And now let's make a closer approach to Power Automate. There are different kinds of flows that can be implemented, like an automated cloud flow that can be triggered when something occurs or can be scheduled. An instant flow that is very useful if it has to run inside a Power Apps, or the desktop flow that allow the flow to access the local desktop. The development of the flow is very intuitive with almost no code again, and you can set up triggers and actions to control what's happening all the time. With this automated process, can be tricky to control your data, but Power Automate offers a data loss prevention between the different connectors that, as well as with Power Apps, can be added in order to connect with third-party systems.
Thank you, Biel. So before knowing the solution proposed to the project presented, it's essential to have some knowledge about Dataverse, which, as Biel said, is the most common database used in Power Platform apps. Our food delivery app is fed by Dataverse, which is the cornerstone that allows users to dynamically store data into a scalable and safe environment. And it's also a great tool to connect different apps and different services made to achieve business requirements. In general terms, Dataverse is a new type of relational database that stores its data within a set of tables or entities. A table is a set of rows, commonly known as registers, and columns, which reflect the field or the attributes of objects. As usual, every column is designed to store specific type of data, and this entity is known as the common data model, outlines and hierarchizes all the information generated by an organization. We can create standard tables shared by all solutions of an environment, or maybe custom tables to achieve specific objectives by using Power Query or Power Apps UI. We will talk more about them later. These tables are stored with a safe, scalable, and cloud architecture in order to allow users to create and define solutions oriented to business data for a company. In global, Dataverse uses a data service of software as a service, very easy to use to handle data and make it compatible, accessible, and ensure its availability. In short, Dataverse is common data model, which works as a data scheme, like Dataverse tables, with the addition of a logical layer to store and structure business process data and interconnected apps. So Dataverse is who stores the data, and common data model is where this data is stored. Now let's talk about the project we have been working on. let's take a look to the solution design and its implementation and the combination of all the capabilities and features mentioned before. In this food delivery app, the main information is generated dynamically through the application by users, although it needs initial data to have a base of categories and menu items. So in Dataverse, it exists 3 types of data integration. First one is planned integration. Then we have transformation and data importation with Power Query. And finally, the single data import. To import initial data, it has been used the second method with a data flow that processes an Excel sheet. About the data model, we have designed a star model approach with different tables related to user information. For instance, we have the food category tables, the menu items with all the information about that menu items, the timetables with information about the start ordering, delivery, and end ordering time, the orders with all information of orders and its historic, and then 2 tables to store information about users, which are user custom table and user standard table. The difference between a standard and a custom table are quite simple. Standard tables are also called out-of-box tables because they cannot belong to a solution. So they cannot be imported into another environment, for example. Standard tables are generated automatically by default when the environment is created. For instance, we have users table, organizations table, or teams table. On the other hand, we have custom tables, which are unmanaged tables that can be freely customized and either created in an environment or imported there inside a solution. For example, in this case, here we have the menu items or the timetables. Besides, as it was mentioned before, the app gives the users different functionalities depending on his or her role. And this role gives the user different permissions to read, update, append, delete, etc. the data like row-level security used in Power BI. These roles can be created in Power Platform Admin Center and assigned with it or also in Azure Active Directory. And in addition, all this information can be stored in many ways and types. Dataverse provides you the general types for data storing, like numbers, text, booleans, timestamps, dates, but also it offers the possibility to store data with more complex types oriented on the business requirements. Some examples are currency, customer, email type, image, file, choices, multi-line text, phone owner, time zone, and URLs. To link all the information previously explained, let's have a general view of how the system works and which technologies are used for what. First of all, here we can see the main application made with Power Apps, which gets the information from Dataverse database and it updates it thanks to the user interaction. We also have 2 Power Automate flows. First one is change the status flow that is triggered every time portion predefined. That type is called scheduled flow. This flow updates orders statuses depending on the pantry's activity and if they are delivered or not. It also sends notification mails to orders owners after the meal to ask for feedback and provide a direct link to the application in the mail body. The second flow is manually triggered and is commonly used by pantry workers. It transforms an accordion table in the application into a printable PDF generated dynamically with information from Dataverse at the exact moment the flow is triggered. The PDF is also stored into a shareable folder to grant access to the pantries. And in addition, administrators can also have access to that functionality, so not only pantries. And finally, inside the app, we have a Power BI report embedded only accessible by administrators to analyze the system success and food quality through users' feedback study. So now let's pass to the demo with Raquel.
Okay, thank you, Enrique. Okay, so I'm going to show you the demo and the application. Before I run to the application, I want to show you how it looks like the Power Platform environment. No? So here we have the home, we have all our applications created. In that case, we have our application, we have the Dataverse, which includes all the tables. As we mentioned before, we can have the standard tables that are already there and all the custom tables, no, as we have for our application, the food categories, the menu items, and all of that. Then we can also have the connectors. the flows, no, the flows that we have created, the chatbots if required, and then every artifact can be grouped in a solution, and after that we can export all the solution, including all the tables, the applications in another environments, no? And this is very powerful. For example, here we have our solution of food delivery, and if we go inside, we are going to see everything grouped, no? Here we can see all. But then you can have the applications. In this case, we have only one. We don't have any chatbots. We have cloud flows. We have the security roles, the admin, the pantry, and the user role that we have explained before. And then our custom tables, the ones that we can export. We have said before the standard tables are not exportable, but because our tables that are in all environments for every client. So data cannot be exported, but we can export the custom tables. Okay, so now we are going to focus on the Power App. And before going to the application, I'm going to show you how it looks like the editor view of the Power App, no? How we build the Power App, because it's very different at showing you a lot of code. Now, instead of that, we are going to see, like we are seeing right now, the different screens that we are going to see after. This is the home page. And basically, I will show you a very simple case of a component, no? Here we have this button of the administrator view because I have the role of administrator, so I'm able to see these two buttons to allow me to go to the screens, no? But if I had a user role, I will never see those buttons. So if we select here, this component has different properties. Each component has different properties. Some of them are maybe common. No, for example, the color or the on select, which is very important. So that means what it does if we click on the component, if we click on this button, or if we click on this other tab, no, what it does, the application. In that case, we have the administrator view button, and what it says is that it's navigating through the administrator menu items screen. So this is the code that we have in this button, and different buttons have different codes. For example, here we have the text box, and we can see how this text box button also, we have a small code that will change depending on the user that will log in on the application. For example, in that case, I am logging, so it shows my name, but it will change depending on the person who signs on the application. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the application that it's already published, and we can go through the different flows. We are going to start using the administrator view. So the administrator view has different options to edit, no? In the application, we have the menu items view. So the administrator can add a menu item, modify it, or deactivate it. We have the categories, we have the time configuration, and the report tabs where we can see the Power BI, which is the powerful of this Power Platform. You can see the Power BI, which is embedded in the Power Apps. So let's start with a simple case. Right now, I have the end time for creating orders at 2 p.m. So if I move it, for example, to 12 p.m. and save it and refresh, then if I try as a user to create an order, it will not allow me to create any orders because the application is closed, not to create new orders, because the pantry team is already preparing the orders. If I go back and extend again the time, let's go back and extend the time until 3 p.m. and refresh the app. Now it will allow me to create an order. Okay. Before creating an order, I'm going to show you very quickly how can we create new items as an admin. So we click on the add menu item. I can click on apple juice, apple juice, no more descriptions needed. Maybe I can put fresh. Okay, and the category for the apple juice, which is shoes, and the price for €3. By default, the status of this item is active, but we can deactivate it in any time, so it's not a problem. But we need to maintain the history of the item so we don't remove it. No, we change the status of active or inactive for the users, but we never remove it. And then we can add a picture of the menu item. After that, it's being created and directly is automatically updated on our table, and we can see here our new item created, and also so I can edit, for example, and change the price lower to €2. Now the price is changed to €2. Okay. So let's move to our regular user role. In that case, if I was a user, I would never see these two buttons. Now we are going to start and create a new order and see all the flow. I will select our last item created, this apple juice. In this screen, we can see that I have this option to change the language, and it's very powerful, power-ups provided. So we have here the menu item name, and below you have translated, in that case in Catalan, also the description. But for example, if I change to French, I can see that it's automatically changed, or even to Korean if you want. No, so this is very powerful for international companies that want to have one single app and can be translated into different languages. No, so let's pick the apple juice. Now here we can edit the quantity of the apple juice. For example, I will choose 3 apple juice for me, Enrique, and Biel, for example. And I can change also the email ID if I want to order on behalf of someone else. So this will change the contacts. No, in that case, I will keep it myself. If I want, I have the possibility to change also the department and the office location. By default, the application always saves the latest that you have written. But for example, if I click here, I can change IT department, and now let's say that I am in room 10. So my pantry can deliver to the room 10 my apple juice, and the delivery time it can also be changed. No, there's a limit here. For example, I cannot order for 2 days. If I try, it will say that I cannot order before tomorrow. No, so always need to deliver for the next day. So I will put, for example, I want it for Monday, and here we have 3 different delivery times. This was a requirement for our client, so they are able to deliver at 8, at 10, or at 12. But in the future, if they want, the administrator can change those times, as well as they can change the create and the end time for the orders. So they can dynamically change it. For example, in that case, I will put 10 a.m. I will change the remarks before this order. I ordered a sandwich and I said the integral, but now I don't have any remarks, so I will remove it. I can add my apple juice, and now, for example, I will add also some snacks. Okay, maybe 7 is too much. And now, if we have all set here before submitting the order, I can also edit. For example, here for room 11, and it's automatically updated. And once I am done, I can submit the order. Now, if we go to my orders view, in this view, we have the current orders. The current orders means that the status are submitted or in progress. And the past orders, we have the status of delivered. So the order has been already delivered, and you can see the details, but you cannot edit. And the current orders, if the status is submitted, that means that you still have time to edit or delete the order. But then we have the Power Automate flow running, and it's checking every time. If the time it's closed, then the status changes to in progress, and you cannot edit the order anymore. But it is still in the current view because maybe you will receive it tomorrow, no? But it's already after, I don't know, 3 p.m. as we have said. So it's in progress already. So it's blocked for you. Here also we can, if the status is submitted, we can edit. For example, I ordered before this turkey sandwich and I want to edit to 2, for example. And also I can be able to delete the order if I want. In that case, I will cancel it. Okay, and now let's say that we have received the email where we already have received our meal. In that case, not these orders, but yes, a past order. I have received, for example, an email for today that I have received this order. And this is also the second flow, no, that it's running. It's sending an email every time the order has been delivered. So if I click here on the link, I will go directly to the app again, and I can go to the feedback tab. And I have here my order that already have been delivered. And I can quickly create the feedback. On the left, we have seen we can see the details. And here only the rate, the 5-star rate. I will put here 4. And if I have any comments, so I can also type it. Once the feedback has been submitted, it's removed from this view. And I can see all the history of feedback here on the second view. No? I can see here my latest order and my rate. Okay, so this is all for the users. They have also another tab of the user guide we have built in that demo. It's not there, but in the client application, we have the user guide showing all the videos, how we can create an order, to check the orders, the feedback. So there are easy videos to see how the apps look like. Okay, and now to finish this demo, we are going to see how it looks like the pantry view. The pantry view has mainly 4 different views. The first view is the preparation orders, are for the pantry people that needs to prepare the order and in the restaurant and needs to create all the meals, no? So in that case, we have this accordion table that we can expand and collapse or just expand one. And it's grouped by menu items. So if, for example, I have more than 1 nuts, let's create very quickly, for example. And you can see it. I already submitted. You see, now the nuts, we have 2 items for nuts, so they need to prepare 2 of these items and 1 turkey sandwich. So these are for the orders of the next day orders, no, the ones that they need to prepare. And then the delivery team, they have 3 different tabs depending on which delivery team they are. So you can see the first delivery team that needs to deliver the orders at 8 a.m. It shows the views of today's orders grouped by office location. So it's better for them not to have it grouped by office location and not by items. So you have here the same features. Also, if I had the data here, it will be shown. And now one of the latest features that we have implemented is the ability of export data to PDF into the OneDrive. So now I'm going to click here. This is a manual trigger, it's a Power Automate. And once it's finished, it will pop up a window. And you can directly open your PDF that it is stored in your OneDrive. We have seen this is the view of preparing orders, so it's grouped by the menu items. But then, for example, well, here we have only 1, but we can do it as well to see. This will open also a PDF and this group by office location. So those are the 2 possibilities and were part of the requirements, of course, to develop this application. Okay, so I think I have showed you everything about the demo. Now let's go to the conclusions. Okay, so as you have seen, our main conclusions, first of all, is that it's a very good tool to solve business needs faster. So we can build apps more quickly than a traditional way to build apps. We can empower our Power BI reports with other Power Platform tools. With this case was a Power Apps, and we have embedded a Power BI, but you can do it vice versa. Now you can have a Power BI and embed a Power Apps, or also add the Power Automates. No, so everything is integrated. Also, another powerful is that you can create a user-friendly apps with minimal coding. We can manage all your data within the Power Platform unified interface, so you have everything in one place. With the Power Automate, you can automate processes and avoid time waste, human error, and also apply security, which is very important also. And finally, we can export the artifacts and reuse it in other environments, including the tables, the flows, the applications, and the connections within the third-party system. So for example, in that scenario of this demo, we have built everything in our environment of ClearPeaks, and then the solution that I showed you before, we have exported the solution as a managed solution and imported to our client's environment. No? So this is also a very powerful option of our platform. Okay, so now let's open the Q&A. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raquel. Thank you for those wonderful conclusions and insightful demo. Now we go to the Q&A section of the webinar. So we have a couple of questions that have come. The first question is raised by Abhijit. The question is, what exactly is the difference between a pipeline and Power Automate flow? Enrique, would you want to take this?
Yes, sure. Yeah, the thing is that Azure pipeline is a flow to build and test code from projects. So it can be done in many languages like Python, Java, JavaScript, C#. So the main functionality is the same as Power Automate flow, but in Power Automate, the design is user-friendly. So you have components already developed, so you can implement complex flows with almost no code. And also you can use the power of Power Platform to connect that flow with many third-party systems and services. So you can even run an Azure pipeline inside the Power Automate flow, which is more focused in business requirements than the Azure pipelines.
Great, thank you, Enrique. We have one more question. The question is about the sample application, and the question goes like, if this app can actually cater for the food recipes in order to calculate the cost of items. So that's the question.
I will answer this one.
Please.
Yeah, like the app is not to manage the recipes. Is more for the food delivery, and then that the pantries can see which food they have to deliver. But would be easy to add this functionality to the app, as Power App is very flexible and customizable.
Perfect. Thank you, BL. Are there any questions? If there are any, please use the Q&A functionality. We'll just give it a couple of more seconds before we wrap it up. Please use the Q&A functionality. Just take maybe 10-15 seconds to wait for any last-minute question submissions. Okay, I see another question. Is Power Automate and RPA, is it part of a robotic process automation is the question. Enrique or BL, would one of you want to take this?
I think it's kind of, you can automate processes. I'm not sure if it's in this robotic automation software, but it's more for connecting to, like the main thing is to connect to third-party systems so that you can maybe send emails, you can execute different processes automatically, but more in a business vision.
Yeah, and also if maybe if you combine the power of Power Automate and the AI builders from Power Platform as well, you can create like robotic process automation behavior. But maybe using another RPA, yeah, a better option. But yeah, you can do it.
Okay, so I think were you saying that there is something called AI Builder which you can use to build?
Yes, in Power Automate there are AI builders which are components already developed that you can use, for example, to detect objects from images, read text from images, process text. The most common sentiment analysis, some components of AI that are already built, and you can add them in your flows or in your applications.
Great. Okay, perfect. I hope that answers the question. If there's no other questions, then we'd like to wrap. As you saw in our webinar today, with Power Apps and Power Automate, we can help you build low-code applications that modernize your process and solve complex problems. And we saw how the ClearPeaks team was able to help our customer move from a legacy pantry application to a simple and user-friendly app that removes the key friction points across the process. Thank you once again for attending our webinar today. Please watch this space for more webinars. We at ClearPeaks would be happy to help you modernize your business processes and workflows by building apps that can improve the efficiency of your business process. But until next time, please do stay in touch and watch out this space for more webinars on the Microsoft Power Platform, as well as many other components of the Microsoft stack. With that, signing off, this is me, John Savio.